What's up, heart rate heroes? Welcome to your very first heart rate training. I am so excited to guide you through this process because if you are doing it on your own, it can be so overwhelming. There's so many different ways to calculate your heart rate zones, and it can really make you feel like you are paralyzed, like you cannot move forward because you don't really know where to start. That is what I am here for. We are going to cut through the noise and we are going to get you started quick and easy. I want to make sure that you understand all heart rate training is we're using our heart rate as a tool that allows you to monitor the intensity of your training runs. So we are just keeping track. Where is our heart rate at? And we are going to have targeted zones that we want to maintain on specific types of runs. Now, I have this really great analogy I want to go over with you real quick because sometimes when we look at it from a different way, it makes us understand exactly what we're doing here. So here I have two ways to improve your standard of living. So you want to improve your standard of living, and first option is to stretch your dollar. So you're going to start clipping coupons. You're going to start shopping for deals. You're going to maybe check into reducing your insurance costs or, just cutting back, right? So that is stretching your dollar. Or you can make more money. You pick up a side job. You get promoted. You apply for a new job with better pay. Now, making more money is going to be your best bet for improving your standard of living. Stretching your dollar helps, immediately, right? You can immediately cut back on Starbucks and you can immediately see results. However, the results are smaller. They're less significant. So running faster is equivalent to stretching your dollars. When we run faster, we feel as though we're getting results faster. We can see improvement because we're out there practicing going faster. However, if you gradually increase your volume and you do it in a safe, sustainable way, your results overall are going to be much more significant. And that is comparable to getting a big pay raise. Training at a much slower rate the majority of the time will get you better results over time. And that includes race day. You are going to show up faster than you ever thought possible on race day if you start implementing this training into your routine now. And it's going to be a new kind of hard, especially if you are a runner currently and you're not just starting out. This is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel awkward and it's counterintuitive. So it doesn't really make sense to us when we're constantly taught to push ourselves harder. This is going to be completely different from what you're used to, and that is why it's so important to have this accountability group and to be working on this together, because otherwise it's so easy to give up on this. So there's 3 things I want you to remember. It's going to be a major mindset shift. You will have to walk. I hate to break it to you. You are going to have to walk. Most of the time, anyone starting out with heart rate training who's never done it before, even if they've been running for years, will probably be doing some walking. And your patience will be rewarded. You have to stick with the plan, and runs will become more enjoyable and less draining. You'll carry less fatigue from one run to the next. Your performance overall will improve, and your fitness levels will reach new heights. I love this graphic here because so many runners feel this way. So this is just a joke, obviously, but put the ice where it hurts, and the runner puts the ice over their entire body. Runners do experience a lot of aches and pains, and heart rate training can reduce that to where you're not feeling any anymore. Yes, that is possible for you. Sure, if you have an injury, that's different. You need to recover separately, but just those minor aches and pains can go away completely if you train properly. And heart rate training will get you on the right track. The easiest place to start is with the Maffetone method. The Maffetone method is where I recommend people starting out with heart rate training begin. And it's because it's just so simplistic. There's not a lot to it, and it's proven to work. So Maffetone method is a great place to start. I've read the book. If you haven't, it's a very good book to really get a full understanding of all the aspects of heart rate training. We will be covering lots of the topics inside the book, inside Heart Rate Heroes Facebook group. So it's up to you. If you want the book, go get it. If not, don't worry about it. I'm covering the most important parts. So 180 minus your age equals your maximum aerobic heart rate. This number is important to us, and this is how we're going to calculate our heart rate zone that we're going to maintain throughout our time together. You are going to take your maximum aerobic heart rate and you're going to subtract 10. All right, so that is your range, your maximum aerobic heart rate minus 10. For example, you take 180, and I'm going to just pop my age in here, 39, and then that equals 141. And Maffetone heart rate zone would then be 131 to 141 because I got the 131 by subtracting 10 from my maximum aerobic heart rate. These are beats per minute. So when we're tracking our heart rate, we're tracking how many beats per minute is our heart beating. So when you are following the Maffetone method, you are keeping your heart rate in range. For me, it's 131 to 141. This is considered an easy run. I recommend aiming for the middle of your range. So when I'm out there, I'm aiming for 135 to 136 beats per minute. And I track this using my Apple Watch. You can use your Garmin, your Fitbit. If you have a heart rate strap, great, use that. But we want to be tracking what is our heart rate while we're out there running. And staying within your range, for me, it's 131 to 141 is really slowing things down from what I used to do. Recreational runners often are out there pushing way too hard each and every run. And we are going to slow things down. And that a lot of times means walking, running, what I like to call the Maffetone shuffle, where you're moving like you're running, but your pace says you're walking. All right. That is what I like to do. And this is a great way to improve your running form. A lot of things are going to start working the way they're supposed to, and we're going to get results. On day one, you can expect to see your heart rate bouncing up and down in the zones. Don't worry about it. Day one, practice. Day two, again, we're practicing. It's going to take a week or two to be able to find the pace in which your heart rate stays steady. And you will get there, all right? So give yourself grace. Don't stress out if your heart rate is bouncing all over the place. Practice, run, and walking. And also, when my other suggestion for you is when you are shuffling along and you notice that your heart rate is climbing, take it down to a walk, but keep the walk fast. That is going to make it so that your heart rate doesn't plummet, and that will help you stay steadier on the way as you go. If you are just starting out with heart rate training and you don't have a lot of experience running in these lower intensity zones, there's a good chance it's going to take you some time to build up your base, and it can take 3 to 5 months. The more experience you have, the less time it takes. So if you're brand new to running, it's probably going to take you 5 to 6 months to build up a strong base. If you have been running for a lot of you have been running for a year or more, it can still take time. Anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, it can take you to build up a base. I encourage you to pay attention to what your body is telling you. If you are feeling sore at all, you want to make sure that you're not pushing past your heart rate zone that we calculated here with the Maffetone method. In future trainings, we are going to learn how to calculate all 5 zones. We're going to learn about speed work, and we are going to be covering all of those things. But until you built up your base, it's really not necessary for you. So you can hang out here in the Maffetone zone for 3 to 5 months and feel confident you have built up your base properly. If you feel like you're more experienced and you are really missing those hard run days, feel free to start incorporating one speed work day into your weekly routine. And we cover more about speed work in the following videos and also inside the Heart Rate Heroes Facebook group. So I want to make sure that you know, if you are just starting to run, don't worry about speed work or different zones until you build up your base. With proper aerobic exercise, your body will build a strong maximum aerobic function. These are our heart, our lungs, our circulatory system, and they're so important to us. You will build high levels of bone and joint support. This is a big part of what makes heart rate training so efficient at allowing us to run safely and avoid injury. Your body will also become super efficient at burning body fat. All right, I wanted to show you a sample week. So here on a Monday, you can do an easy run or you can rest. Tuesday, easy run. Wednesday, easy run or rest. Thursday, easy run. Friday, rest. Saturday, easy run. Sunday, long run. So when I say easy run, when you're first starting out, I recommend going by time limits instead of mile limits. So say, it really depends on where you're starting from, but you could say that you're going to do 20 minutes on Monday, and then maybe on Tuesday, you're going to go for 30 minutes. Wednesday, take a rest day. Thursday, do 20 minutes. Wherever you're at, how much time do you normally spend training? If you normally are pushing yourself very hard for 40 minutes, 60 minutes, absolutely go ahead and run at your zone pace for the amount of time. You will obviously not be covering as many miles because we're slowing things down. And that's why I recommend going based on time, because it could take up a lot of your time if you're trying to run 5, 6, 7 miles. But you gauge how you're feeling, you gauge what your schedule looks like, and you make it happen. What I want to encourage you to do is to run the minimum of 3 days a week. So when I say that that's your minimum, that means you're aiming for 4 to 5 days, but maybe you get sick one day, maybe something comes up with your kid is sick, or something stops you from running and you're like, okay, well, at least I got my 3 days in. So that would be your minimum. Shoot for 4 to 5 days of running. It's just perfectly safe for you to do that, especially if you're staying within the 30-minute time range. Work your way up so that you are running 45 minutes a day. That would be great. And really focus on those long runs. I want to make sure you're getting your long run in. Maybe that's 45 minutes for you, 60, 75 minutes, 90. What is your long run? It's important that it's longer than your other runs. All right. So the long run helps us really build up our volume, and it is probably our most important run of the week. So I want to make sure that you have that planned out and that you are putting in the work for your long run day. On the long run, you will remain in your Maffetone zone. So again, for me, that's 131 to 141. Make sure that you're calculating out your zones. If you have any questions, you can post them right down below this video, or go ahead and ask them inside our Heart Rate Heroes Facebook group. I would love to answer your questions, and I want to make sure you guys are clear on what your zone is and how to get going with heart rate training. Also, we're going to want to measure our progress. So I want to encourage you to start with a timed mile while you're running or walking in your designated zone. You don't have to do this on day one per se, because day one, you're really going to be bouncing in and out of your zone. It's not the best gauge of where you're at. Give it a day or two, and then make sure that your heart rate gets up to zone 2 and start clocking a timed mile and see what is your pace for your timed mile, staying within your zones. Try to shoot for at least 90% of your mile should be within your Maffetone zone. Then you're going to want to write that down in your fitness journal, share it with us over in Heart Rate Heroes, although you do not have to do that. We are more focused on celebrating staying within our zones than we are concerned about pace. We really try hard not to focus on our pace. It's so different from what we're used to. I know, because we love to look at our pace. But we're really going to try to get away from that. And we want to know our starting pace to stay within our zones. However, we don't want to obsess about it. We don't want to stress out about it. We just want to know the information so we can see how we improve over time. Aerobic exercise is a fat burner, and it's good to track to see if you're progressing. So I encourage you to measure your waist to hip ratio. So you are going to take your measurement around your waist, that's around your belly button area, and you're going to divide that by your measurement of your hips in inches. And that is going to give you a percentage, which is going to be your waist to hip ratio. So a ratio above 0.9 for men and above 0.8 for women shows excess fat from carbs, things like bagels, cookies, that white sugar carbohydrates. Those are the things that show up on our bellies. Improving your aerobic base takes 3 to 4 months. We already talked about that. 3 to 5 months, 3 to 4 months, it does vary from individual to individual, but you can expect to really see some changes within yourself in that amount of time. And your biggest obstacle is really going to be yourself. The thoughts we have really make or break us when it comes to heart rate training. Is running this slowly really going to help me? And then you're going to also have your friends or maybe your family that are like, come on out and run with me just this one time. And we're going to push ourselves to a moderate to high intensity because that's what we do. You can't do that anymore. They either need to be on the same page as you, or you need to be running alone. If we keep going out there and running at moderate to moderate high intensities, we're setting ourselves up for injury. We're really not doing the work that pays off most. We're out there working, we're overtraining, and we're not seeing the results. So many runners get plateaued and they get so tired and overtrained that they take a couple weeks off or they give up altogether. And those setbacks make it so difficult to reach your big goals. So we need to commit. We need to lean on each other inside Heart Rate Heroes Facebook group. And we need to stick together in order to get the results. This is just a very short season that we're in when we're first starting out with heart rate training. 3, 4, 5 months down the road, everything will feel and look a whole lot different than it does today. So when your pace comes in very slow, don't freak out. Don't stress out. We're doing this together, and you are going to be so happy you committed to heart rate training. Here are your lesson 1 Heart Rate Hero action tasks. You're going to calculate your math zone going with the number 180 minus your age equals the top of the math zone. Subtract 10 and that equals the bottom of your math zone. Run a timed math mile. You're going to warm up until you are in your math heart rate zone. Then you're going to track how long it takes you to complete a mile. Measure your waist to hip ratio. You're going to measure around your belly button with a measuring tape. Then you're going to measure around your hips with the tape. You're going to divide your waist measurement by your hip measurement, and that will be your ratio. Your very first week, you are going to be in the week of slow. Stay in your newly calculated heart rate zone for every run this week. You really can't go wrong with Math-A-Tone training. However, I know some of you are anxious to calculate out all 5 of your training zones, and that is going to be in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you over in Heart Rate Heroes.